The stream is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Noodle!
Noodle.
Dungeons and Noodles, indeed. I'm Christiana Ellis. I am the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight, Chooch Schubert as Autarky,
Hello, hello.
Starla Hutchton as Nirakina Ethu,
Greetings and salutations.
Jenny Meltzer as Cadence of the Water,
How you doing?
James Meltzer as Ket of the Sands,
I'm still blue, ba da dee 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 dee, blue.
You're fuchsia, though, right? I made your token fuchsia on special.
That's true. I
request.
glow fuchsia.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he is blue.
And Mark Kilfoyle as Alaric Copperbeard.
Huh. We actually won. I'm sure I don't trust this.
Alas, we are short one Jadzia Axelrod as Mugen the Magnificent tonight. And we are hoping to have Viv Schubert as Amethyst join us a bit later, but not at present, alas.
Well, then, if I may, hey, y'all. What's up, party people?
God.
There
well
you go.
done. So,
I'm never not showing up. I don't want him to imitate me.
last
You heard he
time,
does.
I'm trying to think if last time was the only session we've ever had that was all combat, start to finish. I'm not, there might have been others, but certainly not many.
Yeah, I don't think there was one other time that we've left a battle on a cliffhanger, but it's never taken up an entire episode, I don't think.
Well, you know, you don't usually fight ancient evil dragon gods, so.
It's only the third time.
So, that's what happened last time. The Heroes of Legend, in an effort to have an infernal contract changed so that it does not include terms that require the assassination of your loved ones, you agreed to essentially do a favor for the Prince of Hell by going and embarrassing one of his rivals / underlings, who just happens to be Dracarys, the five-headed god of dragons. And so you did that, and you fought Dracarys, the five-headed evil god of dragons, and destroyed their form on the plane of Gehenna, which forces them to disintegrate and reform back in the Nine Hells, where presumably they're annoyed and embarrassed at having been defeated by the likes of you all. Mortals? Question mark?
Questionable mortals. for
Yeah.
sure.
But so that's where we left things off, but with a couple of notable differences. One being that you are now currently in the frozen plains of Gehenna in front of this enormous ice fortress where Dracarys made their lair. But you can't do Ket's magical mansion anymore because Ket permanently turned himself into a planetar, which is a type of celestial angelic creature. So that was useful for the fight, but now you can't make your magic mansion and it's cold outside. But otherwise, you guys did a good job fighting that bad dragon thing.
Yeah, we did.
You did.
Yeah, man. Cadence shot him through the heads. Her through the heads. Pronouns, pal.
That was epic.
So, now what do you want to do?
Loot the room. Loot the room.
I'd like to loot the dragon's body.
It disintegrated into ash and slime.
Oh, that's right.
I'm not sure if I actually said that, but that is what happened.
Damn it, I can't take any trophies from it.
There's probably plenty of trophies inside that building.
Yeah, but none of them are going to be like, look, guys, I killed a five-headed dragon one time.
I mean, maybe it's got 5-headed crown. I don't know.
Ooh, maybe it has little statuettes of itself in there.
You just have to be
Five-headed
careful
crown
when we
just
go in
makes
there.
me think of one of those online drawings saying, would Dracarys wear a crown like this? Like
Yeah.
big crown around the 5 necks? Or like this with 5 little crowns on one on each head? Or maybe a big crown
Little-
that's just
little
like all the
chains.
heads bunched together, so the crown goes around all the heads like in a little bunch.
It's a
bouquet of
5-dimensional
flowers.
crown that's simultaneously on each head and no head at the same time.
Yeah, I
That's
guess-
probably it.
You think it's reasonable? We can investigate that place without freezing to death.
Well, I mean,
Well, right now you're out here standing in the. Well, I guess there's not howling, freezing wind. You can tell just by looking around that there would be. There totally would be. But, it's just stopped right now. It's still pretty cold.
we could probably start a fire or something.
We can probably find some shelter in there.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
We
pretty
need-
cold in there, though. When we went in there, it was like really cold in there,
It was
just like
cold.
it is up
And
here.
we got to remember too that when we go loot in the room, that there were magical wards up on some of the pillars, so we don't want to get slaughtered.
Wait, you've already been in there?
Yeah,
Yeah, man. We
Figures.
bamfed in and out, just to
that's
check
where
it
we
out.
got the stuff to make the heroes feast.
Yeah, man.
All right.
You're welcome.
See, I might be able to help with that. So, Alaric, you're gonna make sure you're gonna want to stay at least 10 feet away from me because I don't know what you've got on under that fake armor. I
I've
hope
got
something.
pants and a shirt, if that's what you're wondering about.
Hmm?
Anyway,
I mean, it's
so
nice
if
to
we
be
think we
thought
can
of, but
we
not
can do this in
necessarily
an
that way.
hour, I can put up a field around myself that will. It's a 10-foot radius that magical effects will be muted. Like I don't know if somebody like shot a fireball and it hit in this area. I think that would still hurt. But hopefully like this might help like
Interesting.
avoid any tripping any traps maybe. I don't know what's in there.
There were
Are
some
there-
traps.
It couldn't
Um,
help, yeah. I mean, it couldn't
Were
hurt,
they-
yeah.
Were they physical traps or were they
No,
magic?
they were like magical
Magical.
wards,
Magical wards.
Hmm.
That should work then.
but we couldn't dispel them because we're not cool like that.
Well, the axe is
Hmm.
a little more powerful than your average magical spell. It wasn't affected by the thing in the astral plane, which could throw off effects, but still, I do appreciate the warning just in case. It's not like this illusion actually gives me any warmth, though. I could kind of use a cloak. I mean, another cloak or a thicker cloak.
Hey, what about those cloaks that we got from who was it? We have cloaks, and you were like, "These are gross. I don't want them." You could probably wear one of those.
I could clean them.
I don't think them being dirty was the problem.
No, you didn't like who gave them to us. I don't remember who it was, but that was
It was
why.
what was his name? The servant in the Feywild.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
We have like a bunch of them.
Oh yeah. So
What was his name?
Oh, they were
Elfin
gifts of the
cloaks.
queen.
Can you do it? Can you get it?
Denobrium.
Yeah.
Denova- yeah.
Inspiration for Cadence.
very nice.
Yay!
Okay, so I'll do this, but just be aware, like if you've got any like magic stuff on you, it's not going to work the same if you're near me. So,
Does that mean that Ket's body will stop being his body?
No.
Okay.
No, I'll still be glowing fuchsia.
This
Baby.
can never be repressed.
There's only
Will always shine
one
through.
there's only one thing that can make me change back into Ket, and I'll tell you later.
Okay.
That's provided you actually want to change back, I suppose.
Well,
Something-
I got to see what's coming up first. We still
I
got
can
a
see
demon
for
lord to
sure.
contend with.
I can see what's
Yeah.
coming up. I can tell you it's pretty cold out here, and you know it too.
I was in the pool.
That's true. He was in the pool.
Okay, so I'm doing this.
Do it.
And I am going to cast anti-magic field. Yeah,
Were
there's
you
a
saying
lot of
that
stuff
it lasts an hour or what?
Yeah, it's concentration
Okay.
up to 1 hour.
I would imagine. I like to imagine this feels like it kind of ionizes the air around you. You know, like you sort of feel this bubble kind of go out. Because you guys at this level are very used to having all sorts of just magical stuff, items, you know, magical things just around you, and to have it just all suddenly go inert, it's kind of like you're always used to being on your phone, and then you go down into the basement of a cement building, and it's just nothing. It feels strange. With noting though that with the Astral Dreadnought, Alaric's axe is an artifact, and it is powerful enough to be unaffected.
Okay. So, but
I do
any
appreciate
like I don't know about Cadence's bow. Like that was another
That's
one.
an artifact too.
I don't
Okay.
remember. Did we establish? Did your bow work, or were you just never in the anti-magic field from the Astral Dreadnought?
It worked.
Okay, yeah. So I think
Yeah.
that was my ruling, was that the artifact level was powerful enough. I just
Yeah.
couldn't remember if we had said so explicitly.
Okay. So guys, there's this really awesome bowl in here. It's huge. You have to see it. Like we could have totally used it for a massive heroes feast. And I just take off towards the treasure hoard room.
Yeah.
Maybe you should.
I'm
let
gonna
me-
start booking it after Cadence because like it's like wait.
gotta step on something.
Cadence.
I wasn't gonna go in.
We bamfed inside. We don't know if the door to this room is actually trapped.
me
Dude,
take
I
a look.
wasn't going in. I was just going towards it. Calm down.
Okay, be careful, man. Ooh,
Just because you're giant doesn't mean you get to be bossy now.
I'm not
all of a
giant.
sudden in your
I'm
life.
still the same size. I'm just fuchsia.
No, you are
Whatever.
big. You are.
Oh,
You're
that's
big.
true. I am big. Yeah, that's right. I'm 10 feet tall. Never
Yeah.
mind.
And
Check
those
for
wings.
traps.
I don't want to put this on you, but I've got to imagine that the wings, you're like not used to them being there. I've got to imagine that like you keep turning around and like hitting people with them, stuff like
Oh,
that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Unless, of course, you would rather your planetar form to be just, ethereally graceful.
Oh no, he's clumsy as fuck.
Still cat.
He's okay. Yep.
All right, let's check out this door.
So you march up to the door of this fortress, which I
Yeah.
think we had established was actually open because you looked through it before. So it's
Yep.
it's
Gonna
a
keep an
big
eye out
open
for-
doorway, and through it you see what is clearly the interior of a large fortress that looks, I mean, just in proportion, it looks as though it would have been built for humanoid beings, but the entire interior, as far as you can tell, has been packed with treasure.
Makes me kind of wonder who lived here first. What sort of a thing lives in a house like this here? I'm going to keep an eye out for traps. I don't know if. I mean, judging from the doors, would Dracorx even have been able to come in here? And
Oh
it's
yeah,
natural?
this main entrance was big enough for Dracarys to go in and out, and it enters first door enters into like a big sort of like entry hall that's very big and spacious. But there are pillars here and there. So it's not like cavernous, but it was certainly big enough for Dracarys to go in and move around a little bit. But yeah,
So
No,
you
for
saw-
like
piles
everything
of gold
we
and
take,
gems
she's going
and
to come
all
after
sorts of
us.
different things.
I think she's already got a big enough score to settle with us that a few trinkets aren't necessarily.
Oh, dude, you don't know anything about dragons if that's what you think.
I've only met 3,
Trust me.
and I haven't liked any one of them.
You just met 5 more.
Is that 5 or is that 1? How does the math work on that?
Well,
Couple have been cool.
they like really
Two
love
more
their
outside.
hordes, and if you take things from it, they'll know. Like you could take one little copper piece and they would know.
Did you take stuff already?
Oh yeah,
Then it's already over.
we took some diamonds and we took some stuff for Archie to melt down to make that bowl and some
Yeah.
jewels and stuff.
All right, so I'm gonna
Right.
walk in.
All right.
Stay close if you want.
Yeah.
So what's the range of your anti-magic field?
It is a 10-foot radius.
Okay, so everyone needs to stay pretty close then if you want to stay inside that bubble. Let me know if anyone is not conscientiously staying inside the bubble.
Mm.
All right, so where do we
Staying
look at
in the
first?
bubble.
All right. These
I
people
am not
check-
conscientiously staying in the bubble. I am flying like 20 feet up in the air just to get an overview of the treasure.
Okay.
Right
So
on.
as you do that, make a Constitution saving throw.
Jeez, of course.
Great.
I got good constitution. That's a maybe not that good. Oh wait, that's plus 12 on my saving throw, so 21.
That is pretty good. That means that you're going to take half damage.
Oh, fantastic, Libby! What are you doing in here?
Right, let me get my dice out.
Hey! Sorry, I got a stray cat.
So one brief note, just because we don't have Jadzia tonight. Mugen, I have been instructed, is accompanying you, but seems like a little quiet, a little more reserved than usual. Just kind of hanging out. So you're gonna take, Ket, half damage of what would have been 45 poison damage. So it'll be 22. Actually, you might be immune to poison. Double check.
No, I'm not.
Okay, well,
Wait, is the hero's feast still in effect?
oh yeah, probably would.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it would be.
Wow.
It would.
Yeah,
Be.
it would be.
Because it's
Yeah.
24 hours, right?
Yeah, so
Yep.
never
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
No poison damage for you. But yeah, so basically what happens is that as you are flying around up there, suddenly you see conjured in the air around you what looks like some sort of a toxic gas that sort of billows into a cloud, and it's clearly heavier than air, so it starts to sink to go around and fill the room. But as it starts getting further away from you,
Mhm.
it kind of slows down and just sort of like slows to a stop as it gets further away. And then where it would bump into the anti-magic field, it just seems to flow around it and not enter that field.
Well, okay, we know there's traps then.
If you want to look
Yeah, we
around,
saw some.
I'll just go ahead and say that you do see several places here and there where there are clearly, I don't want to say clearly, they are
Right.
hidden, but you guys are skilled enough that you spot several other places where there seem to be magical glyphs that are probably traps.
Okay, so I will do my best to like steer them. Even though with the anti-magic cone, I'll still steer them, away from those glyphs just in case.
Well, and you also know that there were at least some of them that were hidden under the treasure, because that was the one that blew you guys up
Right.
with a fireball.
All right, guys, do your thing.
Hmm.
So
So,
was it
I.
that he flew too close to one of these, or just in the crosshairs, or is there any way to determine how they work?
You can make an arcane check if you like, or someone could.
Someone probably could.
Isn't that Ket's specialty?
Not anymore.
It was.
Well, Arcana is intelligence, so that's a 21 for me.
Okay. So you know then that these resemble, in many
Mhm.
respects, a spell that you are aware of called Glyph of Warding, where you can essentially just set up a magical glyph that's hidden somewhere, and then under the specified conditions, which might say include anyone but Dracarics coming within a certain range, right?
Right.
It will activate with whatever it's been programmed to do, which can be a variety of things, including casting any spell that is cast at the time that Glyph of Warding is set. So it could be that, but you also suspect that this was the ancient five-headed evil god of dragons and might have some non-standard magic going on as well.
Okay.
So is this basically after the entryway just one big room?
Well, you believe, looking around, that there are various hallways and corridors that would go off to different wings and rooms of the palace, but all of them look like they are filled with treasure, and so not really easily accessible unless you literally excavate them. Like, you see places where, like, there's the top of a doorway or something, but the treasure just flows right in there. There's just mounds and mounds of precious gems and gold, and I mean, it's uncountable how much this is, or like, time stopped. So I guess theoretically you guys could take the time and count if you want, but let me just say, don't do that because it's uncountable. It's a lot. It is millions of gold pieces worth of just standard treasure at least, and that. And there's all manner of different magical items probably scattered around in there too, but you'd probably need to not be in an anti-magic field in order to spot those more effectively.
Unless they were some kind of like artifact level, like what, like
Well,
Alaric's
but-
axe, maybe.
But how would you detect it? Because if you
Yeah.
wanted to do, say, detect magic, that
Right,
wouldn't
can't
work.
do that.
Yeah, unless it's obvious that it's got some of the glow or something.
Right. Yeah.
I'm kind
Like,
of thinking
there are a
that
few things here and there that you see that you're feeling like, yeah, pretty sure that's a magic item. But at the same time, basically what I'm telling you is, I know it's weird. You don't quite know what to do with yourselves. You guys are standing in a castle that is literally full of treasure. And I don't mean there's lots. I mean, it is full, like, to capacity.
Well, the first thing that I'm absolutely going to take is a whole bunch of diamonds. I'm just going to start like finding the biggest ones that there are, and I'm going to put them in the bag holding.
And everyone is huddling around, staying in the 10-foot radius while you dig and search through.
While she does that, I'm gonna look within the radius and see if I can see any like super fancy leather armor.
Well, probably. So here's how this is going to work, okay? So if you want to find something specific, I'll have you roll to find it. Otherwise, there's just lots and lots of all sorts of things. So, like, if you guys were just saying, get the shovel out and the bag of holding, and shoomp, 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 like, then we would just say, you get a bajillion. But if you want something specific, then we'll roll to see if you can find it, because the odds are there might be one somewhere, but can you find it, right?
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, I definitely think we want to scoop in a shit ton of coin just to have for
this
whatever comes next.
this kind of money is the wealth of nations, not of people. This would be enough to help with any resources needed to rebuild the city or kickstart the economy. Dwarves have not been doing well for a while. They're doing okay, but
I
Well,
was kind of
This is the
thinking
whole-
exactly that, Alaric.
in theory, we could fill the bag of holding with a bunch, and plane shift away and come back and do it again, if necessary, if we were super greedy like that.
Right.
But, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
this
still-
is the kind of hoard that would take, like, months to empty out.
what I was thinking was, I mean, despite the fact that there's still 2 dragons of some size outside, frozen at the moment, but they won't be forever. This is the kind of thing you send an expedition for. This is the kind of thing you send an experienced crew, and they know how to package it up and take it. This might be something that we pass on to others. I mean, you can take what you want. I don't care, but I don't think that we would need to take everything, and I don't think we can take everything to get today.
Yeah.
But
Oh, God, no.
maybe we can leave this as a legacy for others to claim. I don't know what happens to this place, though, when time starts again. Certainly the dragons outside will be upset, and I don't know when Dracorix will come back. So it's a limited window, but...
Yeah, my thought was to have some kind of reserve of jewels and coin just because it's here.
People die all the
And
time. I need them.
Nobody's going to notice it. But, yeah, the only other thing for me would be to scope out some kind of fancy armor.
Mhm.
Or
So-
maybe a fancy sword.
I think I would probably look for anything that might look elvish in design, like whether like the accents on it are reminiscent of patterns, like how we use like leaves and all of this stuff. Things that I
Yeah.
might remember from like, I don't know, from any history that I would know, like maybe something, you know, got taken and stashed here amongst all of this everything. So that's kind of what I'm keeping an eye out for.
Okay. So I think I'm going to have investigation checks for looking for specific things. And guess what? It's at disadvantage if you have to stay within 10 feet of Nira.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hmm.
I'm going to be a little braver, but a little more cautious at the same time.
So yeah, so here's the other thing that I'll just go ahead and set your minds at ease a little bit. This is not a situation in if I may go meta just for a moment. I'm not going to kill you with freaking traps.
This isn't the gotcha moment.
No.
Turns out the dragon is the horde.
Yeah. So I got a 19 on mine.
Okay.
Oh, at disadvantage. Hold on.
Yeah,
I need to
investigation.
roll again.
Well, no, you don't have to stay within...
Well,
range.
so
You
Nira,
don't stay within
Yeah.
range of yourself.
yeah. So it was more about a matter of how much can you look through if you're all standing in a little huddle, right? Versus,
Yeah, I think if they point out the glyphs, then I will wander off on my own and try to be wary and try to do it.
yeah.
Me too.
So what I'll just go ahead and say for the record is that I think probably all of you encounter here and there various traps that maybe do a little bit of damage to you, or they do something that seems like it would obviously damage you if they weren't time stopped, and that sort of thing. So the traps are all around. There are lots of them, but we'll just go ahead and, be done with the idea of having you like step through this place 5 feet at a time, because that's not actually that interesting, I don't think.
We're not going to hex crawl this?
Well, you guys did the big combat already. This is where you're looting.
Mouse traps.
This is looting, not dungeon delving. So so we got 19 for Nira, looking for sort of like natural themed armor. What like heavy armor or?
Well, just anything that looks like it might have come from, like, it might be of elvish make. It doesn't have
Okay.
to be armor. I mean, it could even be like a chalice or some kind. I don't know. And like, I don't like keep kind of presenting me with like, here, choose from anything. I don't know. Just-
Okay.
I don't know.
So actually, before I do that, since it was actually Cadence that asked first, let's go ahead and have her do
That's
the
fine.
roll and
I did
resolve it.
20, not natural.
Oh, that's pretty good. You. Yeah, I mean, like I'll go ahead and give you the big one. You find Hide of the Feral Guardian, which is in D&D Beyond. It is an artifact studded leather armor. It comes from the so it has 3 states that it can be in. It is the middle state, so it is awakened as far as the stats are
Ooh.
concerned.
Okay.
And so that means that potentially it could even get better, but that's the state that it's currently in. And so
Okay.
it is extremely fancy leather armor. And it is actually, in fact, kind of nature themed. So I think because you got one higher than Nira did, I think you spotted it first. And you
Nira,
can fight
look, the
over it.
armor of your people.
It's not elven themed, but it
Cute.
is like
Feral
nature.
elves.
It looks. It really, honestly, it does look more themed for like rangery or druidy sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But you keep looking, Nira, and you find. Let's say, you find, because you're looking for stuff that looks like it's sort of elven themed. There is a set of elven chain, but normal elven chain is +1, and this is +2. +2 elven chain. Let me know if that for some reason doesn't, like if you can't find that, we can make a version of it if you want, if we need to.
I see the +1.
Yeah, so it might. So we'll fix it. Don't worry too much about it.
Yeah.
Just like make a note
Okay.
that that's what you got, and we'll make it right on your character sheet. But yeah, so you have what the elven chain says, which is essentially it's just very fancy chainmail, but it is it's much lighter and quieter than normal chainmail, and it's got a little extra magical oomph to it. All right. So who else is looking for something specific?
Odegree is looking for fancy armor. Well, I mean, he doesn't look for fancy, but something, that befits what he's doing, what he's
Sure.
going for. But he's always comfortable in plate, so
Okay.
something. He's been feeling a little vulnerable with all these
Okay.
super high level bad guys.
Sure. So, what if you go ahead and make an investigation check for me?
And it's investigation, which is
Yeah.
0, which is okay. Just checking. 12.
12. You actually do find what seems to be a fairly fancy set of plate armor that does appear to have kind of a magical shimmer to it.
Cool.
The details of it we will work out when you it's not I kind of made a mistake telling the other two what it was.
Yeah,
that
I
they
get
got. So
No worries.
I'm not going to keep doing that. You find a set of magical plate armor. It's fancy looking.
Sweet.
Yeah, and then Nira found what's obviously fancy elven chain. Cadence found a very sort of nature-y themed set of studded leather armor that looks magical.
Oops. Super sweet, and I think gonna look for no. See, well, I was gonna look for another sword, but
Well, is anyone else
it's
doing
working pretty
one?
well.
Yeah, I was going to take a look for anything that might be dwarven. Probably more on the line of artifacts or famous things, but he definitely needs new armor anyway. But
Well, you do. I mean, you also already have like the most famous dwarven artifact that exists.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's fine.
They're
Go
on
ahead
the-
and make a
he's going to have to give that up at some point.
yeah,
So
yeah. Well, so go ahead and make your investigation check.
that's a 19.
19's pretty good. I think you find Yeah, you find a set of you know, dwarf-sized plate armor that is clearly got kind of dwarven motif to it. Can you wear plate armor?
I believe I can now wear heavy armor, yes.
Oh, because of the axe.
Because I'm a cleric.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
You're welcome.
Actually, I started as a fighter, and a fighter gets all the armor.
Oh, okay.
types,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of funny to say it.
Okay. Well, just double checking. I didn't want to give you something you can't use. So, if anyone else doesn't
Actually,
want
I
to look
d-
for something
I
specific,
do want to look for another sword because the complications of this sword, it technically takes 2 attunement slots, which has been annoying
Yeah.
him.
Before you do a second one, I just want to give everyone else kind of an opportunity to do their
Yeah.
own because also time is passing as you guys are looking. So,
Oh yeah.
like relative to you, right? But
Right.
for like Ket, are you like if you're not looking for something specific, you could
Mhm.
be just looking around to see what catches your eye.
Yeah, I'm not looking for anything specific.
Okay, just
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
whatever catches your eye.
yeah, just kind of browsing around.
Okay, we'll go ahead and make an investigation check for me.
19.
19. None of 19. Where's my... There we go. You get to roll a percentile dice for me, please.
Oh my god, percentile.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I need one of those somewhere. Oh, there's one. Okay. 50.
50. All right. Yeah, you find a very shiny sword.
Ooh.
And
okay.
as you kind of pick it up and just sort of wheel it around, like
Mhm.
even the noise it makes kind of swishing through the air just sort of feels like it moves through the air more freely than you would expect. And you just sort of, and it kind of, the amount of force you need for it to kind of go through the air is less. And it just seems like it's extremely sharp.
Okay. I will take that sword and investigate it later.
It's a wiffle sword. It's hollow and has holes.
Yeah. It occurs to me that if I'm not telling you what you guys are actually getting, I should probably write it down.
Somebody needs to know eventually.
Cadence mentioned something about a cup, so I'm gonna a really big cup.
It's a bowl.
I-
It's like a big giant bowl.
Well,
Yeah.
it's essentially,
Yeah.
if you imagine the extremely fancy jeweled goblet used for Hero's Feast, now imagine one that is 6 feet tall.
That's not gonna fit in the bag of holding.
It's a dragon's feast, I guess. Fit in the bag of holding, it's practically a vehicle.
Wow.
It may not float, but it's
Yeah.
about the size of a boat.
Maybe it does.
Something like that might be worth enough to rebuild the entire city of Farusha.
I mean, if you can find the right buyer, or melt it down. If you're going to melt it down, you might as well just take coin.
How heavy is it?
Very.
Like, could we pick it up together?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of you working together could probably heft it, but I mean, it's big and awkward, and like that's the problem with it ultimately. It looks like it's designed to be like for a giant, right? So the problem is not even necessarily just how much of it weighs, although that's a lot. It's that like it's not big enough around that more than like 3 of you can actually sort of get your hands under the base of it, and then you're all kind of standing in a circle and it's awkward to move around with it.
It's not a cup or a bowl. It's a swimming pool.
Hot tub.
Yeah, you don't really move that around so much as you move around in it.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm just making sure I've got all of the the things that I already told you about.
But we can come back here and fill the coffers if you want to.
Amethyst mentioned grabbing something to be able to do another hero feast if we want to try to do that before taking on the demon.
Yeah.
We
We
could
could
do
So
also look for any more
Another
bars
bowl.
of metal for tuning forks.
I mean, there's lots of those. Like they're just
Yeah.
If you want precious
Just making
metal,
sure we
there's
get some.
tons and tons. There's lots.
I want to look specifically for fine cut amethysts.
Mm.
All right. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
That is a 7.
There's so many gems of all different colors, and
This one's
you
kind of
kinda-
purple, but I'm not sure.
Like, the light's also not great in here. You find a bunch that well, these are all kind of purple. Are they amethysts though? Like it. You feel like you got too many gems, and like you find a bunch of purple ones. They're probably amethysts.
I want to check for a new weapon. Like I love my Warhammer, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But I would love something with a little more oomph.
Okay.
It's a nice Warhammer, barely used.
Magical in the right hands.
So, where is go ahead and make another investigation check for me, and then I need everyone to make a Constitution saving throw.
That's a 16 for me. Do I still need to make, since I've got the bubble, do I still do the
Yes,
Constitution?
because
saving
this is not magic.
throw? Okay.
21.
11.
All right.
17.
Constitution.
Natural 1.
16.
Anyone who gets 15 or lower has a point of exhaustion. It's from the cold.
Oh.
Yeah, you're trying to keep moving around and trying to keep the blood pumping, but it's very cold. You're just really kind of not used to it, and especially with the adrenaline kind of coming down, and you're not fighting something. It's very cold, and it's starting to catch up with you a little bit. That was a 16 for your
Yes.
investigation. All right, let's see. What? Round and round we go. Are you looking for like a melee weapon, or like would you?
Yeah, like a melee weapon, because I still have that Javelin of Lightning, but I never use it. So like if I'm gonna be wailing on something,
Yeah.
I'm usually gonna be using magic, but it's nice to have the option.
Yeah.
Like I really like the heft and the bluntness of the Warhammer.
Okay. You find. Are you wanting it? Would you be looking for something that's like a Warhammer, or would?
Yeah, I don't
sort of-
necessarily want a sword because that
Okay.
seems like everybody's got swords. All these guys got swords.
Sure.
I don't have a sword.
All
I don't
God's
have a
children
sword.
got swords.
But you have knives. They're stabby.
You find a mace that the handle is all done up like it's not literally made of bones, but it's all decorated to make it look like the haft of it is like a chain of bones together, and then it's got sort of a whole bone motif on it.
Cool.
Kind of fits with that form you took during the fight.
That's creepy.
It was pretty cool, wasn't it?
It was disturbing.
Archer was looking for another sword too, right?
Yeah.
Want to make
Yeah,
another check for
yeah.
me?
17.
That's pretty good. Oh, you know what? Let's see. Let me see what the. Helps if I spell what I'm looking for right. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say that you are looking around for something, but then you actually you've been feeling, I think, since the fight, like you're it's one thing to have just a little bit of the endorphin rush after a successful battle, but
Mhm.
this is also the first time in a while where it's just really clear you slayed a fundamentally evil thing and it feels good. It feels right. You did the, like, you know, maybe why you came here wasn't just because it was an evil thing, but you have made the universe better by setting this thing back a little bit, right? And
Mhm.
as you're looking around for stuff, you see a sword and you're kind of reaching out for that one, but then you kind of almost feel like the 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 divine sense within you calling you to go another way, and then you see a glittering golden hilt emerging from one of the piles, and you pull it out, and it's
Definitely.
just this gleaming white steel sword. It's beautiful.
Beauty.
I would like to look for any kind of statuettes of Dracarys.
Okay. You go ahead and make an investigation check for me.
You
I
could
mean,
just have Alaric carve you one.
It's not the same, man.
Yeah,
21.
taking one of hers.
okay. You find like there are several things that are clearly sort of like you know, like sculptures and things meant to like be an to honor Dracarys and everything. But the thing that actually um, catches your eye as being sort of more powerful is where is that? Sorry, hang on. Um, there it is. You see what at first you take as a helmet, but then you that is like with an like a motif of the five heads of Dracarys. But then you realize that it's actually somewhat similar to one of Archie's items. It's a mask, but it appears to be a mask of all the that seems to evoke all of the different heads of Dracarys.
Ooh. That's creepy. I don't put it on right away. Because I'm not. I don't want to do anything weird or cause a problem.
All right. So, let's see. I've got 2 things each for Nira, Cadence, Archie so far. Ket and Alaric, you want to make another look?
Actually, I'm blowing on my hands and casting prestidigitation to warm them up.
Okay.
Maybe looking for firewood at this point.
You're not seeing a lot of wooden stuff in here.
No, that's what I was thinking.
You see a couple of things, like the only things you see that you think would burn look like they're like extremely expensive, like art pieces or furniture, like like ornately carved silver mirrors with a wooden frame, and stuff and
Stupid.
Famous paintings and stuff like that. So it's like
Stupid magical dragon doesn't even leave dung you can burn.
Mugen is not searching through the treasure, but seems to be just lost in his own thoughts while you guys search. And then I can work with Viv later if Amethyst is looking for stuff.
Right
Can
on.
assume that's happening in the background.
I think I would probably anything else that I would look for would probably be small stuff. Maybe a little bit harder to find, but like any kinds of like rings or bracelets that I think might be magical. Like, I
Mhm.
obviously can't tell right now, but
Yeah,
maybe they have some kind of inscription or something on them.
Mhm.
Comes up with a fistful of rings.
I'll sort them out later.
Okay, so how about another roll for me?
Okay. 17.
All right. Let's. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Kat, were you looking for anything else?
No, surprisingly, Ket is not really
Hmm?
interested in a lot of treasure.
Hmm.
He's just hovering there in the air, just watching everybody enjoy the spoils.
I mean, he doesn't wear clothes anymore, and he has a magic sword. So what else?
Sure.
He's pretty good right now.
So I want to have everybody be their own advocate here because like you guys are hanging out in this, apparently endless treasure vault. So like if anyone feels like they're not getting enough stuff, tell me. But at the same time, I need everyone to make another Constitution saving throw
Yeah, yeah.
because each of these investigation checks represents time spent looking through all of this stuff.
18.
14 for me.
Oh,
30.
9.
Okay. So as
19.
before, if you got 15 or lower, that's a point of exhaustion.
We probably ought to think about wrapping this up. Maybe we could come back. But, like, it's
Maybe we should-
cold, y'all.
We should go somewhere warm for a while, maybe.
Can we go somewhere? I mean, do we have the ability to plane shift out of
I can
here?
plane shift us out. I have one spell slot left that I saved for it.
Actually, could we just climb out of here the way we
Awesome.
came in?
Well, the
We used
Prince
the
of
tree
Hell.
to get here.
did we? I thought the
Oh,
Prince
no,
of
that
Hell
was
like
the
opened a
Prince of-
portal
you
and
used the tree to get to hell. The Prince
To hell,
of Hell
that's
brought
right.
you here.
We
Yeah.
haven't seen the tree here. I don't know how that works.
well, do you want to head
Yeah,
to
I don't-
Emerald
I can
Arboris
do
then?
I can actually
'Cause-
sense for like portal type stuff that are associated with the tree. And if there is a way out, like we could climb out without having to waste a spell slot because I know we used a lot of spells.
Yeah, either way. Yeah, we
I mean, we
definitely,
could probably
definitely don't want to
choose to
stay
make-
in Gehenna long.
Yeah, we should probably go somewhere where we're not likely to be, I don't know, freezing, on fire, or encountering other kinds of enemies.
Um,
And
Anyway,
with
your,
any luck, time will still be froze. It's still frozen
Yeah.
here, so
your
we should be
anti-magic
okay.
field would have been worn off by now, Nira.
'Kay.
Are you doing your portal sense?
Yeah.
You actually begin to look for that, and I think you're a little bit surprised when you realize there does seem to be portal energy type of magic back right where you entered Gehenna from when you came with the Prince of Hell. There seems to be some right there.
Okay. So, are we ready to go? Does everybody have everything they want?
Yeah, that's all.
Buckets full of treasure and stuff?
We can
Snag
always
one
come-
more
Yeah.
diamond just for the road, just because. Yoink.
Man, I didn't
Okay.
think about rings, but this is
Oh.
the important stuff to take care of
Yeah,
that.
so
demon,
you did find a cool
It's all
ring,
good.
Nira. Did you want to
Okay.
look for a ring too, Archie? I mean, I'm not trying to rush you guys out. I'm just saying that, like,
No. I'm thinking how he would logic through it too. Like they are freezing. Like the
Come
really
back.
important thing for him was armor.
Yeah.
Was of ultimate importance. So
Where do we want to go?
So since the anti-magic field has worn off, do I spot? Because I know this is like kind of but that like there was a chair in here that was like some kind of super special thing, and seemed like it was in a obvious place. I wanted to use my magnifying glass on that to see what it is.
Right.
Just curious. It's been bugging me for weeks.
all
It's a
right.
chair of sitting,
Um,
chair of waste disposal.
There's the
yeah.
toilet.
So this thing is not something that has like an entry in D&D Beyond for you to look up stats for. But what your magnifying glass kind of gives you sort of the equivalent of here is a lot of sort of its various little diagnostic readings are sort of needle pegged all the way to the and it's a very powerful thing. It is clearly an evil throne that does seem to be like the name seems like it's gone through several different translations, but it basically calls itself the seat of power. And it is definitely cursed.
Oh yeah, most definitely cursed.
Yeah.
I was just curious about it. I don't want it.
It's
should
a
make
very
a note of
fancy
any-
throne-looking chair. It is absolutely cursed.
We should make a note of any real dangers that are here in case we do send others.
Well, anything that I identify with the magnifying glass goes back to the spirit in the library at Villanocta, so it would technically, I guess, be cataloged.
Wow.
It what?
Something. Anyway, where do we
Long
want to
story.
go? We'll talk about it
Somewhere
when we get
warm,
somewhere warmer.
cold.
Yeah.
All right. So you go and check out where that portal
Yeah.
energy was, and when you actually approach the spot that you teleported in with the Prince of Hell, you didn't see anything there until you got close. But at that point, you see glowing. There's this sort of little pulse of light, and as you look at it, it's some little sigil that starts to unfold in some sort of like fifth dimensional way. Like at first you saw what just looked like a symbol on the ground, but then it's just like until it looks basically like it looks like a gondola, like a boat. It sort of unfolds out into a boat big enough for all of you to climb aboard.
I bet this takes us right back to hell.
Yeah, I feel like that might be true.
It's warmer there.
Yeah, well, some parts of it.
Yeah.
More subjectively warmer, really, but
But also, like, we know how to get to the tree from there, and we don't have to plane shift if Amethyst or Nira can't. So
moving around in that hell, from what I recall, was kind of hell.
But we know where we're going now. I know exactly
have-
where the branch is, and
You
I would
do
just
have a
focus on
marker.
the branch and get there.
All right.
All right.
I guess it's worth a try. Everybody be ready to fight.
No,
God, I hope not.
I'm not going to. I'm going to just take a nap on this boat right now.
So everyone
Pretty
gets aboard
tired.
the boat.
but yeah.
Yep.
Um,
All right.
as you all step aboard, near like the front of the boat, there's just another little set of things that starts to unfold into a sign that says in common, say ready.
Ready.
All of a sudden, the world around you drops out of, like, disintegrates into nothing, and you feel like you're falling in a void in the boat. Like, you're standing in the boat, and now the boat is just in free fall in an infinite black inky void.
Bad idea.
Do any of you have any kind of an immediate response to that, or?
Grab on.
Screaming in terror.
Yeah, I'm just holding on.
Yeah.
Gradually, you feel the boat starting to tip a little bit. So you're kind of all like sloped
lean,
downward.
lean.
Yeah, it's more like it's the front of it is going downward. But then you start hearing what sounds like the rushing of water, and you sense that you are approaching like this. It looks like rapids, but then as soon as the boat sort of touches the surface of this very steep set of rapids, all of a sudden your sort of mental orientation of what's up and down shifts, and it's a little bit of a lurch of disorientation, but now you are on a horizontal but fast-flowing river where you can see like there's mist around you, and the water goes off into the mist. So there's no sensing how wide it is or what's on the banks if they are there. But you are now no longer falling, but being carried along by this very fast moving river. And you hear a voice in, speaking from the front of the boat. And it is the Prince of Hell's voice. And it just says, "Well, congratulations are in order. I am going to go ahead and explain because I'm sure you're concerned. I am certain that I am still frozen. This is magic that was activated in advance due to your presence. Your contract was looking for you to meet the terms, and this clause was activated at my request once that condition was met. So, you have met the terms, and as agreed, I will release the contract with Neocortex, and the Infernal Assassins will be called off. Your family members are no longer in any danger from me."
Oh, phrasing.
Well,
2 stars out of 5. I would not ride again.
Well, and so it continues, and then just says, "Currently you are in a boat traveling along a river which runs between the abyss, the Nine Hells, many of the lower planes, but then all the way to the higher planes as well. Along this river, you can go anywhere you like. Feel no obligation to return to the Nine Hells. But I must say, even though I know you will not appreciate this, I found you extremely pleasant to work with, and I hope that we can do business again."
That's smart.
yeah, I'm sure he
Son of a-
does.
Wait, so we could go anywhere.
Where do we want to go?
I mean, we've never been. What are the higher planes anyway?
It's like it's
We
the
have a
opposite of the
demon
Abyss
to
and
deal
the
with
Nine
on the
Hells.
material
It's, it's
plane.
where the Celestials are from, and that sort of thing. I
Maybe
think
that's a good
Cadence,
place to get allies.
you would know, Cadence, as part of the lore with Emirate Arboris, is that it is sort of the it is like it has sort of an opposite number that it works similarly but is under a sort of a darker control, and it is sometimes described as a river. But the thing that you would know about the river, actually, go ahead and make a history check for me.
Okay. 7.
Okay, you remember that there was a really good reason that you used the tree and not the river. You don't remember exactly why, because it was really kind of one of those things they didn't really cover in detail, because why would you ever use the river when you've got the tree?
Mm-hmm.
And so you really, stop asking questions about the river. You don't want to go anywhere near it. Just leave it alone. Just don't do anything with it. So.
Which I think is really stupid because, if they don't want us to go, they should say this is why you don't go, because this just makes you want to go all the more. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Anyway,
but
I don't know.
probably
I don't remember.
I must say I prefer the tree.
I mean, that sudden first step is kind of a doozy.
Yeah. I almost barfed on you, Alaric. I'm not going to lie. Sorry.
Yeah, at least it can be cleaned. That's the worst. That's the least of my
I
worries.
didn't. I mean, I almost did.
Well, arguably, do you have to apologize if you didn't do it? Do you apologize for almost doing something?
I felt bad, though, because he would have been the one to get it.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's good.
All right.
That's good. Because if you would have horked, I would have spewed. And,
Yeah, it would have been a nightmare.
yeah.
You guys need to be able to
So-
hold your interdimensional travel.
I think
Anyway.
we should definitely check out somewhere nicer, maybe in the higher planes. We've never seen. Well, I've never seen where the Celestials come from, And I mean, that could be another thing we make a tuning fork for.
We can. That's
And maybe
great.
an
Yeah,
ally.
let's
But we
take
don't
a
have
couple-
a place.
take a week of camping trips and just tune.
Well, I mean,
Anyone
we don't have the
who
forge
wants to
anymore.
can make. Actually, I think maybe it just makes the most sense. Nira, you can make a religion check. Does anyone else have proficiency in religion? Probably not.
No, think so.
26.
Yeah, you know that the most sort of well-known of the higher planes, there is Mount Celestia. There are some of the other ones that have sort of come up at various points in the journey. There's Elysium, that is sort of like an endless sort of the joy of battle sort of place. Like, and then of course there's also the Beastlands where Amethyst had mentioned she had been spirited away to at one point. That's a plane
Beastlands
of
are
chaotic
cool.
good.
Yeah, didn't we all like kind of see that like when we were
Mhm.
well, I
Yeah,
guess
well,
not all of
so-
us.
Yeah, when you did the astral projection with the
Hmm.
Archdruid Evergreen in Villanocta, yeah, you briefly traveled to the Beastlands astrally.
Well, I think Ket would probably look right at home on Mount Celestia.
Yeah.
It's got the word mount in it, so that sounds like it could be nice.
I don't
As
know.
in-
Comfortable.
Lorik, you have such a filthy mind.
I'm assuming it's not a horse. It's probably a mount.
Oh my god.
It's not a horse, is it?
You stop that.
Hopefully comfortable, and if time still stopped, we could maybe get a moment's rest.
I say
Yeah,
we go check
whatever.
that out.
Okay,
Where Mount Celestia?
sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see
So
something pretty after the last few trips.
Hopefully, the reason we weren't supposed to use the river doesn't come back to haunt me now.
so how do you guys do that?
Think real hard.
I want to look around the front of the boat where the voice was coming from and see if there's any like controls or anything, like little buttons you can push to say, "I want to go here."
Like click
Your
my
little
heels
pull
3
rope.
times.
Atlas.
Yeah,
Just put your finger on the atlas somewhere.
yeah.
You find a button and you press it, and then there's a pole that's obviously designed for pulling it, but it falls out of a little hook, and then just it's back there now. Yeah.
Crap.
No, I'm kidding. That doesn't happen. Yeah, there's no obvious like controls or anything, but you also know that it's not like you press a button or pull, flip a switch on the tree. It's more, it's a matter of focusing your will and the intent, and I think you suspect that it may be kind of along the lines of that, or the way that you navigate in hell. It's all about sort of focusing on, and guiding with your will rather than physically.
It's like the boat in the Astral Sea.
So,
Everybody
I will.
think real hard.
Yeah, let's focus on. I'm actually try to do what I would do if I were climbing the tree, like relying on those same energies
Yeah.
that I would use if I were, going somewhere I'd never been before.
Go ahead and make a survival roll for me.
That is a 19.
19. You begin to, to focus and kind of open your mind to the various branching pathways, the different routes that this river could take. And you do start getting a sense of what it means to kind of will this boat into one branch or another. to begin a destination. So you can certainly start sending the boat in the direction you believe of the higher planes. It's not a concentrated, like you don't have a firm destination yet, but you believe you're sort of moving in the right direction.
The boat's starting to move.
Well, the boat is being carried along by a very strong current. You have, even though there's nothing around you but mist, you definitely have a sense of moving very quickly. But now that now that Cadence has begun to try to guide it, you do feel it shift a bit in the water, and clearly something is happening. Although for the rest of you, I don't think you sense any obvious destination or direction.
I'm going to grab onto the side of the boat very firmly because the last time was a bit of annoyance. So,
so I think we're going to need another survival check. But if anyone else wants to try to do something to help with this process, you can maybe give
Well,
her
poop her
advantage.
with guidance.
Okay. Well, guidance, you'll get guidance. It won't be advantage, but if anyone, so this is a little bit of a skill challenge here. But
Is guidance +4?
Yeah, it's plus a D4.
Like a D4?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that is a 26.
Okay, that's pretty good. You are definitely getting the sense that you have a path in mind. You know where to go, and it's going to take some maneuvering and navigation before you will arrive there, but you do have a sense of what path you're going to need to take. And so we're going to need one more survival check.
Is guidance only a one-time thing, or does it last?
Yeah, but she could do it
It's
again.
one thing, but
It's a cantrip, so boop.
Okay. Oh, that's not bad. 22.
Okay. Yeah. So, as you are making your way on this river, gradually the mist starts to clear. And as it begins to dissipate, you see a hint of sun peeking through in the sky. And as the mist continues to clear, you're still being carried along. Revealed is a gorgeous blue sky, just like it's how you imagine the perfect blue sky, like in a poem. There's a moment where you sort of feel like there were times before now where I felt like I thought I saw a perfect blue sky, but this one's pretty good. And as the mist begins to clear more, you start to see, there's off to one side, there's these impossibly lush green rolling hills and a forest. And then there's off to another side, you see a low lying range of mountains with some that are much taller than others, but all kind of generally older looking mountains. But again, it's just the majesty of it is incredible. And there's almost sort of an iridescent shimmer to the air. And you realize gradually that although you are still obviously being carried along by this river, you start getting the sense that the land around you doesn't actually have a river here. And then you sort of realize that the banks of the river are getting closer and closer to you until eventually the boat just sort of crests like you have just come along ground on a sandbar, and you look around behind you and there's no river there, and you realize you're now just in this lush and warm field, a meadow full of all sorts of wildflowers.
Wow.
And the as you're sitting there, the boat catches fire.
Yeah.
It's a little
Get
bright.
out. Bandit
Have you
ship.
ever got your stuff?
I mean, the fire's
Yeah.
kind of nice. It's getting kind of chilly.
No,
in
no, the
floor.
fire is not nice. It is burning you.
All right, fine.
Fire's kind of nice.
Show off.
Everybody got their stuff. You all okay?
Yeah.
So as you are sort of getting, climbing out of this boat, which seems to just have been spontaneously combusting, you sort of clamber out into this just very lovely, soft, springy field of wildflowers, and you hear a clear call of a trumpet from somewhere in the air, and then all of a sudden, flying down is this just gleaming white Pegasus, who lands, sees sees all of you, and sees this flaming boat. Kind of walks over to where it's sort of just disintegrating down to ashes, and then it just begins to use its hoof to kind of just stamp out the remaining flames.
Sorry about that.
Thanks, Horsey.
It's awfully bright here.
It gives you a look of just kind of like, it's okay, but
Don't do it again.
and then it sort of just nods, kind of like a respectful nod, and then just gets up and flies way back off into the sky.
Weird, you guys. Something was like
it's-
moving.
Yeah, that's not frozen.
Well, at least now we know at least one place that is still maybe functioning.
Mhm.
Can we find some shade, though? This is way too bright a day for me.
Now that he mentions it, you all do notice that, like, out of everything in this amazingly perfect landscape, it does actually feel a little bit like, if you had to say one thing is not, like, the sun feels like it's just a little bit too bright, a little bit too hot. And you wouldn't even comment on it. You wouldn't even say anything of the kind, except that just everything else is like perfect. And so it just feels a little weird to have even anything that's just like, I would turn that down 10%. So Alaric is definitely having a hard time, but I think all of you sort of sense that.
I wish I had some sunglasses.
I wish I had a cave.
Do we see any trees that we could
Yeah, so
gravitate towards?
there's a little ways away. There's just this lovely forest. Again, it just looks kind of like, the forest that you you growing up in the desert, but knowing all of these, you hear stories of adventures in forests. Like, you feel like this is the forest you would have imagined as a 6-year-old, hearing stories about adventures in forests. Like,
So,
I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of tired. I would not mind shutting my eyes for a few minutes.
Yeah, but now I don't know if we need to have a walk. Well,
we probably should.
it is a
anyway.
good place.
Is it
I
though?
mean-
I mean, stuff is alive and moving around here, not frozen.
Are
other
not
things
everything
better?
is like, so like all of the wildflowers and everything, and like I mentioned, there's kind of an iridescent shimmer that, like, as you move around, it shimmers a little bit, but you get a sense that's just sort of the way the light works. It's not that anything's moving, because like it's just like when you look at a mirror and you move around, the reflection seems to move, right? It feels like that. But yeah, so obviously the Pegasus was moving, but yeah, like everything else still seems frozen in the way you would have expected.
When we look at the horizon, do we see a magnificent mountain, or do we see any kind of signs of civilization?
I mean, nothing obvious.
For something called Mount Celestia, I expected a mountain, not trees.
Well, one thing that Nira could tell you is that Mount Celestia is the name, and it is named for a mountain, but it is in fact an entire plain. It is not just a mountain.
Hey, Ket, you want to do some recon with me? And I kind of point up.
Let's do it. I gotta stretch my wings somehow.
Have fun, kids. And I go to the deepest part of the shade of the tree.
Doing this the whole time, squinting to look around.
I start
much.
like digging through the bag of holding, and I'm like, "Do we have tents and stuff?"
I mean, like I have to imagine like maybe there's some stuff down in the bottom there, but it's kind of like mildewed a little bit because like nobody ever takes it out anymore, and it's like
We've got those
rations.
cloaks. You could like do a little like pup tent kind of thing.
But the thing is, like once you kind of get in the shade, you sort of feel like this is perfectly comfortable. Like you don't feel like you need it to be in a sleeping bag or anything. And in fact, look,
No.
all of these little beds of soft, springy moss. It's like it was just there for you to just lay down in and take a very comfy nap.
Yeah.
Forever.
How do you feel about that, Alaric?
Taking a nap sounds great.
You trust sleeping around on this moss? It doesn't seem suspicious and weird to you?
I already agreed with Otterkey that we should probably have a watch just in case, but
Well, if you don't think it's creepy and suspicious, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I just lay down on the moss like nothing.
Just for kicks, I'll use my divine sense, and I have a feeling I'll be blinded by the light.
Blinded by the light. I mean, this is just in very much the same way that when you were in the Hells or in the Abyss, it just sort of everything about it seemed evil and hateful and malicious and everything. Like, this is the opposite, but in a lot of ways, it's more passive. Like, everything in the Abyss felt like there were plants and animals and landscape there, but you got the feeling that it hated you and wanted to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
This feels more passive by comparison. Like it's entirely benevolent, but it's not going to do it. It's not even going to come and actively do good at you. It's more just kind of like, oh, hey, that kind of energy. Like it's like a nice smile, hi there sort of energy, but it's not like suddenly fawning all over you. It's like, what can we do for you? That sort of, like, I'm trying to give you a general sort of feel of the energy here. It's good, but it's good in sort of a passive way.
passive benevolent indifference.
Not indifference, like friendliness, but at the same time of it's.
I would think like the Beastlands would be more indifferent.
Well, like what it feels like is it's the difference between entering a room and having someone jump up and go, "Oh my God, it's you!" and they run over and hug, versus someone who looks up and just smiles and says, "Hey." It's just more relaxed and chill, and it's essentially what it feels like is it's not coming to you, it's waiting for you to come to it. That's sort of a feel of it. Like it's got a benevolent intent, but it's not going to do anything to you. It's here, but it's, it is up to you to decide how to interact. But
I choose to interact by curling up next to a tree and sleeping.
It's very comfortable,
Yeah.
and I think you actually find that you're out almost like a light, just like.
Yeah, I'm down with that plan.
Is this happening while Nira and Ket are scouting around?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So,
So,
you're
what do we see?
just flying up into the air.
Yep.
So you're flying around, and you see at a little bit of this higher elevation that as you look into the mountain range, as you're able to look a little bit further past the horizon, you see that there are more mountains in that direction, and that some of them do seem to have structures of some kind. They're like these sort of gorgeous, sort of crystalline buildings that are very beautiful, but they blend in very naturally with the mountains, and so it's almost like the mountains are sort of jewel studded in places rather than, built on, if that makes sense. That's kind of what it looks like. But you do recognize that they do seem to be like structures, like buildings. You don't see anything else moving, and in fact, you don't actually even see that Pegasus anymore. You're up there though, and as you are kind of going higher and looking around and seeing just again, like everywhere you look is some feature of landscape that looks like the perfect possible version of whatever landscape feature it is. It's like, it's gorgeous. And it's, you just sort of feel like, you look here and you say, wow, look at that. Turn your head 10 degrees. Oh my God, look at that. Oh, wow, look at that. That's what it's like. This place is beautiful. And, but like as you're up there, you're sort of feeling like just that strange little bit of oddness, like this place is so perfect, except why though? Why does the sun feel just a little bit too hot? That's weird. And it's actually, I think, starting to like almost be a little bit irritating as a result.
Yeah. But yeah, so we've spotted the structures.
Yeah, that's
On the
the only
mountains.
like sign of civilization of any kind that you see in your,
Nothing
current
else.
vicinity.
Yeah, nothing else moving. Was there anything that you would look for, Ket?
I think, Ket, as a planetar, I think that your I think that even as I've sort of described how it feels to everyone else, I feel like your planetar senses, because you have, like, as a planetar, you have innate, like, this is where creatures like what you are now come from. This is where they exist. This is their place. And so, as a result, it feels very natural to you here, except you do feel like that's different. Wrong might not even be the best way to put it. You're not sure it's right. It's definitely different.
Can I reach out? Like, I have telepathy. Can I reach out and just kind of speak to anything that might be observing us? And just, like, say in my mind that, we're friendly and that we're not looking for confrontation. We're just travelers passing through, and see if anything answers.
Okay. I mean, you reach out. You don't feel like you make contact with anything.
Okay.
What is the range of your telepathy as a planetar? That's probably
120 feet.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't detect anything.
Okay.
I will go ahead and I think validate your instinct though, that there is, now that you think about it, maybe a little bit of a sense of like what part of what's different is that there is a little bit of a feeling like you're being watched.
Right. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. So I kind of relay all that to Nira, that there's just something a little off about this place. And I'm just getting this feeling that we're being watched, but I don't know for certain. It's just an instinct that I have. But I've reached out and there's nothing there.
Wasn't Cadence mumbling something about not like why people shouldn't use the river. She was
Mm,
very non-specific, but I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe there are side effects.
Don't drink the water.
Well,
I mean, if we see no imminent threats, I mean, we
yeah.
just have to, be on our guard. I mean, I can stay up here for a little while longer and just kind of travel,
Yeah,
travel along.
it's really bright, but like I'm good for a little while if
Okay.
I don't know, I imagine they probably all went to sleep, but
You want to hold hands?
I think I'll pass.
Okay.
But thank you.
No problem. Bamboozled again.
He's spoken for.
So,
Not for much longer.
Pink's
So-
not
Sleeping.
color.
so I mean, tell me what you're doing. I think everyone else went to bed, or went to.
Probably just
I mean, yeah, we're
Lost
just.
and
I
watch
mean,
for a while.
yeah, we're just playing lookout.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
All right. I think that again, even with the sun being a little bit warmer than you feel like would be perfect, it's not unpleasant. It's just again, it's a little bit. It's like it makes this place like an A instead of an A plus, and I don't know how many of you like. It's one of those things where if you take a test and you studied real hard and you're really excited about it and you think you maybe aced it, but then you missed one and it's not a perfect score. It's still really good, but it's not perfect. And so, of course, the one that you missed is what you obsess about. So that's what this is like. So it's not bad. It's not uncomfortable. It's just again like just that slight feeling of oddness about it.
What about the color of everything? I mean, does it seem natural?
Well, it is very like
Like I get the sun's bright, but it's like the green. Is it just a little off?
well, it's again, it's not off. It's just everything's very vibrant. Like the wildflowers, like the blue of the sky, the green of the grass, all the different purples and blues and reds and oranges of these wildflowers. It's just they really pop, but like they don't look wrong.
Okay. While we're keeping on the lookout, I want to cast detect evil and good.
Okay.
It's just for it's concentration, lasts up to 10 minutes. Lets me know if there's an aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of us as we're traveling.
Okay. You.
But it only lasts for 10 minutes.
Right. You detect that there are various little bits of sort of fauna around that are technically triggering as celestials, although as you look at them, they're mostly just like you sort of get a little ping and you kind of zoom in on it, and at first glance, it's just a squirrel, but it's
an
very
angelic
pretty
squirrel.
Yeah, it's a very pretty squirrel, and it pings as a celestial for you, and it's just sort of like there's a moment where you feel like you could get lost in its little beady eyes. It's just you feel like that would be a really great squirrel to like be friends with.
All right, that's kind of what I expected anyway, but I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah, eventually gonna, touch down and kind of settle in, and I imagine with everybody else snoring away, it would kind of lull me into that whole like meditative state. So yeah, been a long day.
All right. So is everyone doing long rest then? It seems like, yeah. If that's the case, I would, you are undisturbed in your rest. You do, you do get, all your normal long rest things. If any of you had points of exhaustion. Those are cleared. I think normally a long rest would clear 1 point of exhaustion, but even if you had more, it's all cleared.
Cool.
Oh, and here I look to see that I'm immune to exhaustion. Oh, there we go.
Now you know.
Yep.
It was psychosomatic.
That's right.
Everybody else
but,
is doing it, so why not?
As you wake up, though, you realize that you don't really feel like you were all kind of in a little circle when you went to sleep, but you are now. Like you're in little beds of moss wherever you sort of sat down, and like wherever near you went to get her like meditation. But it feels like sort of as you look around now, it's like your relationship spatially to each other's is a little different than kind of what it felt like it was, and is like, oh, okay, that's weird. And you realize that right in the center there is a little envelope.
Hmm.
Well,
I will.
Well, I'm gonna grab that and read it because that's what I do.
Yoink.
Zoink.
You open the envelope, and it is extremely similar. Seems to be the same sort of stationery as the "Congratulations, Your Gods" card, and it says the same handwriting, and the words just says, "Heads up, something has hitched a ride on your magic. Grandmother P."
Interesting.
Hitch the ride on our magic.
I don't like the sound of that.
what's that supposed to mean?
Probably something evil.
I mean, is it here right now, or is it, I don't know, trailing behind us? Are we leaving a
Probably.
trail? Some of you
Mira,
can see-
don't you have like see invisibility or something? Or like
I
your
have my
magic ring thing? Can you use that maybe and see if you can see anything?
Yeah. So yeah, I'll take out the ring,
Mhm.
pull off the ring, and scan everybody from head to toe.
I think Ket can see everything.
Cat has true sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can already see invisible things.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah.
Well, I can't really like look at all of myself, so
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can also see
That's
through
helpful.
Alaric's illusory armor. Says the planetar who's also not wearing anything.
Hey, I've got a normal plain suit of leather, studded leather armor.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be anything amiss that you can tell.
Hmm.
You feel very
let's
well
check the legs
rested.
of holding.
It was very like you definitely got a good night's rest there. I think I think a lot of you are sort of thinking about it like in the sense like you almost don't want to say because you're worried, you don't want to like hurt Ket's feelings in terms of, but like it was like you slept on the ground and it kind of feels like it was better even than the mansion. I mean,
I wonder if there
technically
was
you are
another-
in essentially heaven, so
Mhm.
yeah.
I wonder if there were another clause or two in that contract.
I want to take out my key and check it out.
Hmm. Yeah, it's been a while.
It is still a key.
I'll go ahead
Do
and,
do the keyholes still appear? when we-
Yeah, so if everyone takes them out, it sounds like
Mhm.
that's kind of what you guys want to check, and the answer is
Cool.
yes. Once again, this sort of little panel that has
Mhm.
one keyhole for each of you.
Hmm.
Maybe we need to talk to that Pegasus thing.
Did we take something cursed maybe of the stuff that we took?
Yeah, we
On
should
that
take a
note,
closer-
like
It's possible.
I'm assuming that you guys haven't like equipped any of that stuff yet, or
No.
Yeah.
let me
No.
know
I
if
did
you're
not.
doing any
Yeah,
tuning or
I
anything.
don't know. Like I know I took a ring, but I don't know what it is or what it does.
Yeah.
I'm sure the bone mace is fine.
Yeah, that's probably what's wrong, Nero.
Well, I no longer have access to my spells, so I can't cast Identify on anything.
But
So
don't you have that-
I would like to use the cleansing touch, I guess, on myself.
Okay.
Says yourself or one acting creature to end one spell on yourself.
Okay.
If there's a spell effect.
I mean, I
Any different?
I feel like, you know, like the magic sort of discharges, but you don't notice any change.
She's still out there though. Praxis.
Do I feel weird at
How?
all? Like strange?
No.
Okay. I just wondered because I remembered when we were in there, Kat and I both had to make a thing, and you were like, "Okay, I noted that."
So, being that we were
Hmm.
coming from Gehenna, we know somebody that was definitely there.
Oh, does that mean I get to chop off her head again?
Mm,
I think we have to take her back there to do that. Or wait, where?
No, if she's out, then we could definitely kill her again.
it's Mugen. It's Mugen. I knew it. I chop off Mugen's head.
No.
entirely
Like
possible.
you go to do that, and all of a sudden, what you thought was Mugen turns into just like a chunk of log, and Mugen comes around from behind the trees, like, "What are you guys doing?"
Chopping wood, man. Chopping wood. That's all, you know. Chopping some firewood in the heavens.
I want to be careful about what trees you cut down. Somebody might take exception to it.
I don't
Yeah,
know about you
damn.
guys, but I'm parched, and Ket goes off to get a drink of water. I'll be right back.
Where the hell is he going?
Who knows?
He was thirsty. I don't know.
He's
Did you
weird.
see a river somewhere nearby? I mean, the one we came in on is gone. So
I mean, you saw like when you flew up that like there was you know there was rivers as part of the landscape that wouldn't be too far away if you wanted to go to one.
we will need to eat and drink at some point.
Yeah.
Unless this
We
is
can,
like
Well, I mean, Amethyst could probably
cleanse
do, like,
ourselves in
those
a holy
things.
river.
Mhm.
I can't hurt.
when you say it like that, it sounds really bad.
I mean,
Like,
I
I
think
don't
she could offer everyone a good berry.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd like that.
Yeah. So I think she offers it. And obviously it's just a berry, but it, you know, it's magically satisfying. But also it's kind of the reverse of how you felt like anything you ate in the hells just sort of automatically tasted bad. It's really the opposite. The berry is just sort of this extra little burst of sweetness that's just right.
Wow, these are amazing, Amethyst.
Imagine if you made a pie of these.
Oh, pie.
Oh.
Man,
It couldn't be better. There's no way.
I wish I hadn't said that. You know how long it's been since I've had pie? Or any meal that I could consider to be normal. And
Not chicken.
I don't know if anything in their mansion was real as such.
So here's
True.
a thought.
Mm-hmm.
The note said something or someone hitched a ride on our magic.
I think I said something.
Okay. I do have access to Temple of the Gods that could like keep things out. Although that now that Ket is like a celestial, that's going to be problematic.
Oh, he can't use it.
It wouldn't be personal.
Well, because I'm trying to see if like okay, any creatures I designate when I cast a spell can open or close the door. Okay, so but it see, I can choose for the temple to oppose types of creatures, and I can just say like all of it. But
Mhm.
celestials is on that list, and since that's where we are, and probably what we would want to keep out.
Is this some
Yeah,
kind
but I
of
mean, if you can admit Cat, then I think that would negate
Yeah,
it,
that's
right?
what I'm trying to discern. Christiana, do you know?
Non-cat celestials.
Well, I mean,
Can I exempt Ket from that?
let me let me look at the spell again. This is Temple of what?
Temple. Bleh. Yeah, Temple of the Gods. Does
Okay.
take me an hour to cast it,
Right.
but it might be. Yeah.
Let's see. Well, so even the creature types that you mention have the opportunity to make a saving throw
Right.
to sort of beat it. Now, I mean, based on the way I read it here, if you want it to keep Celestials out, that would apply to Cat.
Yeah. So that's not gonna work.
I mean, even if you can cast your own mansion, which is what this sounds like, if it's attached itself to our magic, then
Yeah.
is it going to be affected by that magic?
Well,
Right.
and yeah, I don't know.
Well, we're okay in the rough right now. We
Man,
don't.
Kat, why you have to be a planetar? Like that's really inconvenient now.
What? Wait. What are you? So
I mean, does that-
was getting from celestial water. What are you trying to do?
Does that mean like something is cursed?
I don't
Maybe
know.
that's one of the
Let's
Let's
items.
take out what we got and see if any of these things are cursed. Because I don't know.
How are
I'm
you gonna
pretty
do
sure
that?
this mask that I picked up is cursed.
It is pretty ugly.
It's awesome.
So here's the thing.
I
what
swore
things
I had
would've
something
picked
against
up-
curses.
Things I would have picked up, I would have done so, like with the anti-magic field. Maybe not the ring, though. It might have worn off by then.
When you say would have done what, like picked up.
Well, because I was just thinking, like, if any of it was warded, like the item specifically, like if we like remove it from the bag of holding, now is that going to activate the
Probably.
Well,
warding?
You couldn't have put it in the bag of holding when you were standing inside the
That's
anti-magic
correct.
shell.
The bag
Oh,
of
does it work that
holding-
way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bag would have. it
So
would
I
explode.
can remove curses. And I
Do you have
actually have it.
detect curse that you could like see if something is
No.
cursed?
Not that I know of, but I can remove it.
Huh.
Um,
I
All
mean, I could
effects-
just like
All curses
Greater
affecting one
restoration?
creature or object end.
I mean, we might know if a curse is on us, I suppose. If
So it doesn't actually break the curse from an object, but if there's a link, it'll break the link from a person, from the owner.
So if someone has become cursed from a cursed object, you can break its effect
can break
on that
it.
person.
But I
doesn't-
cannot uncurse an object.
Hmm.
The object stays cursed.
yeah, that's kind of the same thing that
So we can experiment.
Greater Restoration does.
Well, would dispel magic work on a curse?
I feel like it might. It would depend on how powerful the curse is. I feel like items. I'm gonna see if there's an obvious.
Yeah, I thought that the
Suggestion
ring
about
was
this.
essentially like performed identify. So I thought it would see.
I
Identify
feel
doesn't find
like
curses.
there is not bog standard
Oh, yeah,
something that
right.
definitely removes a curse from a cursed item. So what that essentially means is that it could theoretically be done, but it's not like trivial, like, oh, you just cast this one spell on it. It might be that you would have to sort of seek out how to do it.
It's a
Right.
quest. A quest for fun.
Oh, do we have any way to tell if something is cursed, though? I mean,
If it changes someone,
You'd
That's
think
probably-
we would. I mean, there's.
Do we all look the same? Like,
You all suddenly get shifty eyes looking around at everyone else.
sorry, thing reference.
can
Your
I?
shade of purple is darker.
Hey, be easy on Ket. It was a choice. He made it. He lived by it.
There's no obvious differences in your appearances.
Can I take out my 5-headed dragon mask?
You can.
and sit down with it for a few minutes?
Are you attuning to it?
Well, Archie, I'm gonna attune to this. If it curses me, you can break it, right?
Okay.
Okay? So keep an eye on me. And I'm going to attune to the 5-headed dragon mask.
There's your-
Cadence explodes into little bits. No, not really.
Excellent.
Put the little bits into a pile.
That's like, damn it, they gave up my wish spell.
I
This
cast
is a
Radiant.
solvable problem. You guys have got true resurrection. It's all fine.
Yeah,
Um,
I can bring it back.
yeah. So
Was.
let me pull up. Yeah. So what this is the Mask of the Dragon Queen. And basically, you can look up the stats for red dragon mask, blue dragon mask, black dragon mask, white dragon mask, you know, like the five heads, right? And basically, you can choose any one of those masks to have active, and you have all the stats for that.
Okay.
But when you wear it, you watch as like she's attuning to the mask, and it like goes up to be on her, and at first it's like this crown with the 5 dragons, but then pick one of the colors first.
Red.
The red dragon kind of leans down, and it's almost like it's sort of swallowing her, but then it leaves very similar appearance to Archie's red dragon mask, but then it actually like spreads down, and it covers like over her shoulders and kind of the top of her chest, and there's just sort of all of those red scales. It kind of goes all the way down, covers her head, and has like, you know, sort of dragon horns and everything.
Do I feel cursed?
How do you feel?
I don't know.
You feel like you
Turn
have the effects of a red dragon mask, which I can tell you what those are in a moment. Archie,
Turn
can-
your head and cough.
Yeah, so with the red dragon mask active, you can add your charisma bonus to your armor class. You are resistant to fire. You have you have better dark vision. Once per day, you can get blind sight. You already knew Draconic, so that doesn't change. But you feel like with the mask on, you would have advantage on any charisma check made against dragons, and you have a legendary resistance.
Okay.
Ooh.
Nice.
In Draconic, I'm all like, I feel fine.
What did she say?
She said she feels fine.
And
Why
even
did
though
you say
you
that?
know that in theory it's a mask, like the dragon's mouth moves when she talks, like it's her mouth.
While you are wearing no armor, you can add charisma bonus to your armor
yes,
class.
correct.
I'm not currently wearing armor, but
I was like, I missed that. Wait, what?
Yeah.
I am a god. No.
I kind of like touched the
Right.
horns of the mask and like, Cadence, is that you?
yeah. It's
mean-
just a mask.
Yeah,
I
you don't
know, but-
like you feel like the movement on the mask, but it's not like you literally have sensation from the horns or anything.
Well, that's pretty cool. I'm going to spend some time and attune to my fancy shiny sword and see if that does anything.
All right.
Since I'm not attuned to currently anything.
So I had the chance to move around spells, but like I don't want to be like all like metagaming it and stuff. So like the only thing that I could think that I could equip would be maybe divination to tell us something about whatever it is that's attached it to us. But like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that after the fact. So
I mean, well, you tell me what you like.
I
you just
feel like maybe that's not fair. Like
you just got up from a long rest. You can decide,
Yeah.
like in principle, choosing your spells for the day is like it. In theory, that's something you're doing like as part of your morning routine. So if you just woke up and saw the card, like you could have chosen after knowing that it was there, if that's what you are questioning.
okay, then yeah. If logicked that way, then I would not feel bad about it.
Okay.
But yeah, so wonder like if divination might work to figure out what it is that's hitched right on our magic.
Ket, you have a sword
That
of
sounds-
sharpness. It is the
Sword of
great
sharpness.
sword variety. So when you attack an object as opposed to a creature, you maximize the weapon damage dice. Also, when you attack a creature with the weapon and get a crit, it takes an extra 14 slashing damage, and then you roll another d20, and if you get another crit, you lop off a limb.
Oh wow.
Something I've been trying to do for a year.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
going to
Lark's
have to make an old
access that
fashioned.
property as well. You can also
Yeah.
make it glow.
Those
You
odds.
can make it glow too.
Okay.
Bright light for.
I'm
10
going to have
feet.
to make an old fashioned
Dim light for
character
another.
sheet for my Planetar since I don't have one.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
I mean,
that's
yeah,
what your
if
sword
everybody
is.
was attuning, I suppose I would go ahead and attune as well. Since it takes an hour, we would all do it at the same time. I
doing your
guess.
armor and
I'm-
your
The armor and the sword.
yeah. So the armor is, I mean, it is plate armor, but it basically you have resistance to slashing damage.
Oh,
That's what the armor
Cool.
does. Which I think actually as a
I
paladin
already
you
had
kind of
that.
have that already. Yeah. But
I did.
you do feel that you have been attuned now to it. Hang on, let me double.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
but yeah,
Not feeling-
unfortunately,
not
yeah,
feeling
it's,
cursed.
yeah. So it is
Feeling
magic
good.
armor, but it's not necessarily like, yeah. But then also you the sword is a holy avenger, which is like the paladin
Ooh.
sword. So the holy avenger, I'll let you pick which sword type it was. Like longsword or
Yeah.
great sword or whatever. Probably longsword, I think is what you use, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So
Toothpick.
it's a +3 sword. When you hit a fiend or undead with it, they take 2d10 extra radiant damage. And then you also, it generates a 10-foot radius aura around you. You and all creatures friendly to you have advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. And if you are a level 17 or higher paladin, the aura of the radius aura is 30 feet.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a holy avenger. It's a really good paladin sword.
That's the perfect sword.
Right.
Doesn't feel cursed.
How would you know if it? If
Right?
Cadence, do you also attune to the armor? If you do, then you would
Oh, yeah,
also
yeah.
know what I told you already.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I was looking at my attuned stuff to figure
Okay.
out what I have to take off because
All right.
I have the armor page, but we
Hmm.
cannot find it in the D&D Beyond game. We have like the D&D Beyond page for it, but it's not showing up like when you try to add it on your character sheet
Oh,
for some reason.
let me see if I might have to just make sure that the campaign settings it allows.
We can figure it out after the
that.
game. I have the page for it right now, so I can check it, but
Okay.
I didn't want to
Um,
interrupt for that.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'm not sure why it wouldn't work. It should, but I don't know what to tell you. So
Yeah.
What about you, Nira? Are you doing your stuff?
Well, now I'm all leery about the ring and the the maze. I can look at. I think first I would use the magnifying glass since it's been.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'm
Do you have
yeah,
like?
I'm just gonna remove curse on everybody, just whether they're cursed or not.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know what this thing does yet. The magnifying glass I used before the long rest, but I don't know if you count it as a full 24 hours or if it's like because time is weird right now.
Archie, do you use remove curse on yourself as well?
Yeah.
When you do, it breaks the attunement to your armor, and you realize that although it gave you resistance to slashing damage, it also gave you vulnerability to bludgeoning and piercing damage. Yeah.
Bad
Sorry. So
So do you-
technically,
do
you
you-
did have at least one cursed item.
So yeah, that was cursed.
Do you
Next.
do remove curse on everybody? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I said I'm just going to burn the spell slots and
Did
do
you,
it.
did
Just
you wait to do
it's
that?
it's the
like-
prudent thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
I
you do it on
haven't,
Alaric,
I haven't
he's-
checked out what
he's
these
squint.
things are yet, so
Yeah. So
what's not going to do any
yeah,
good right now?
Alaric has +2 dwarven plate. That's what he got. We established what Cadence had, and Nira, we haven't established if you are actually attuning to any of these yet. So I don't know what I can tell you yet. So
Well, the elven chain, like I
Mhm.
can't. I found the +1 in the thing, but not
yeah,
+2.
well, we'll have to make a special.
That yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
that doesn't
easy.
require attunement, right?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. So I'd probably put that on, but then yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start with the mace.
Okay. You.
It seems the most obviously
just
to
go
be
ahead and
cursed,
attune
but
to it.
yeah.
So this mace, once you attune to it, you realize that it is named Bone Counter. It is a +2 mace. When the weapon is used to destroy an undead creature, a single silver piece appears in your pocket.
Ooh. Nice.
That's what it does. That's what it is.
So if you're
All
able
right.
to summon undead, you have a supply of silver.
Do we need money?
It seems like a very labor-intensive and time-consuming.
Yeah.
way to
Yeah.
make money,
Yeah.
especially
Okay,
given
so,
that you
uh,
guys have
quick
like hundreds
scheme.
of thousands worth of gold.
All right. So now the ring. What's this thing do?
The ring is a ring of free action, which basically, let's see, difficult terrain doesn't cost you extra movement. Also, magic cannot reduce your speed or cause you to be paralyzed or restrained.
Not bad. Not bad.
You can be physically restrained, but not with magic.
So here's the question. Otterkey has cast remove curse on each of us, right?
Yes.
Does that break my attunement to the axe?
No.
Okay. Does it remove
You
the curse?
well, so you could break your own attunement to the axe. You've done it before.
Yep, but remove curse does actually break the attunement to
Oh.
a cursed item.
Well, I don't think of it as cursed. It has some negative properties to it, but it's not a cursed item.
It isn't technically cursed for me, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's it
No.
has some, in addition to all of the amazing things it does, it has some slightly negative qualities, but it's not a curse.
Okay.
So Archie was the only one who was cursed
Yeah.
from
None
his
of the
item.
other items seemed to ping with the remove curse.
Oh. Well, it's
The,
too bad we don't have some way to just be like, hey, Grandmother P, are we still having a problem here?
So I can
did
maybe
shovel
ask
big-
now.
Shovelfuls of stuff, random treasure into your bag of
That's
holding,
true.
and grabbed a whole bunch of random gemstones and stuff. So
Are these gemstones magical? I'm asking the group because I can't check.
I don't know. That's not my area. I have no
I
idea.
don't have detect magic up.
I think I can pray for it tomorrow.
So you would just want to go back to bed and give up again?
No.
I can maybe I don't know. I can give divination a shot and see if that'll work.
What does that do?
I can ask a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days.
What's
the
the
GM
question?
offers a truthful reply. The reply might be a short phrase, a cryptic rhyme, or an omen.
Great. so we can't just be like, "What's cursed?" It's this terrible thing that's.
I mean,
doomed
if
to
there was
follow
any
us.
place,
Well,
if there was any,
it has to be a truthful reply. Like it could be cryptic. Like it doesn't have to be like an obvious direct answer, but it's required that it be truthful. Meaning, like, I can't lead you down the wrong track with it.
Right.
I hate to be a terrible guest, but if there was any place in all of the planes, I'd feel there'd be someone we could ask about this. It's probably here. We just have to find the right person and probably apologize for bringing it here in the first place.
Why do we have to touch people everywhere we go?
We're meeting people. It's what you normally do, except we have to make a little extra effort.
Okay, so do we want to ask, like,
So it's like,
should
I
I
can
ask?
detect magic.
No, not today.
So I can cast detect magic. It's a different lower spell level than the other removing curses.
Mm-hmm.
That gives me a 10-minute magic third eye
You dump out all the
within
treasure?
30 feet.
Yeah, you just dump all the treasure out of the bag of holding.
Yep.
Yeah, we go through everything. Is
Pretty
this it?
much.
Is this it? Is this it?
You know, like you turn it inside out and it's just going.
Well, not everything out of the bag of holding. Good God. We've been collecting stuff on that for years.
Well,
It's like,
not
oh,
to
man,
mention,
I forgot
that
I am assuming you guys literally put like thousands and thousands of gold in there because why would
Yeah.
you not? You know, I was
Exactly.
assuming that's what you did. You kind of implied it,
Platinum, because it's worth more. But yeah,
Well, okay, but like it was all mixed together.
A mixture.
Unless you're
Yeah, yeah,
literally going through and saying
Shovel.
that one and not
Shovel.
The
that one.
shiniest shovelfuls.
Yeah.
it was shoveling. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And a handful of
none
ammo.
of the things that you didn't already know were magic
So
register as magic.
one casting is 10 minutes of
Yeah.
sorting
I mean,
through stuff.
Yeah. I think it's relatively straightforward if you're looking at a pile of stuff. You know. Yeah.
Like, all
So should I ask a
around us,
question, guys? Like I can cast this spell and
I
maybe
wonder
get
if it
some
has to do-
direction.
I've got nothing.
whatever- I'm wondering if it
nothing in
has
the
to do
pile?
with the.
So what should I ask? What has attached itself to our magic? Like, can I ask that specific?
I'm wondering if it's the travel we've been doing. If we've left open doors that something can travel through.
What the spell asks for is a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days.
Right.
It is not tell us a truth about the world. It
Right.
is, how is
Yeah,
this
it's a
going
future
to turn
event.
out for us?
Yeah.
The answer is fine. Well, that's not really an answer.
How,
So
could
this,
you ask
this is
how
a
to get
telling the
rid
future
of?
spell, not
Yeah,
a
or,
not a what has happened already spell.
So could you ask
or
something
what's
like,
going
"How
to
can I get
hamper
rid
us?
of?"
It's more
Trying
of, is the festival
Yeah.
going to be fun?
So, like specifically, like the spell divination. This is a tell the future spell.
It could be, are we going to find someone here who can help us remove this curse? Or remove
We don't know
this
that it's a
passenger?
curse.
Remove this passenger, this attachment.
So what will we find someone here that can rid us of
Well, can
whatever's
help.
tagged along? Like, can we find someone? Like, I don't know. What am I supposed to ask you guys?
I have no idea.
Well, in 7 days of looking, if we aren't going to find someone, then we wouldn't go looking. But if the answer is yes, then we start going and looking and find someone.
All right. Will we find someone then? So we want. Well, but that could be yes or no. So yes, and then we just start looking. That's kind of. Ugh.
But that's
Do you
petty.
really want to spend
But
like
That
a
seems
week
really
wandering
vague and
around here?
unhelpful.
But not really. Not really. It means within a week of us being here, we can find someone if we look. But if
Do
the
we
answer
wanna
is
be here
no,
for a week? We still
You
have
got
other
somewhere
things we
else
need
to
to
go?
take care of. Yes. Do we want to spend the rest of eternity in a world that has no time movement? I mean, I know we're
do we
getting a lot
wanna-
of stuff done, but we're not getting the thing that we need to get done.
But
Is
do we
the
want to
sun?
try to
Does the
drag
sun still
something
seem a little
worse
too
with
bright?
us?
Yes, but one of the things that like time is stopped, right? So you wouldn't expect the sun to be moving across the sky. Like even as you went to bed, you were doing it in the shady forest, but like it didn't get dark, right? So like nothing has changed in its position. But yeah, it does still have that sort of property to it. If anything, it's more intense.
I think these things might be related, guys.
I mean, maybe we've infected this place. What else can travel that river, Cadence?
Anything.
That narrows it down.
Can you
I mean, where were we? We were in
think
Gehenna,
harder?
so-
It's you slept on it. Can you think harder and
I
remember
don't know. Can
what
I
the story
think of it
was
again?
about not using the river?
I'll let
Is
you
that a
make another
thing?
check since you've had some time to reflect on it.
Is it a history check?
Yeah.
Okay. 9.
I think what you remember is a conversation where you got annoyed because they wouldn't answer your questions about it.
Should have booped her with guidance.
It wouldn't have helped. I rolled a 9 and I have a 0 for my history.
Is it related to dwarven history?
You have inspiration, remember? I
Oh
gave that to
yeah,
you
that's a
earlier.
D12, right?
Yeah, because you remembered something
This
earlier.
is just
No,
you
it's
get
another
to, you get to
D20,
re-roll.
just-
You just re-roll.
Oh, you get to re-roll?
Yeah.
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 Oh, I'll try it.
There's
We'll
bardic
see.
inspiration, but this is like the other inspiration, which
Okay.
like they called it the same thing as another feature for some reason for reasons.
That's a 15.
15 is better. You get the feeling that the problem with the river is that whereas the tree itself is kind of at worst benign, the tree won't hurt you. Like it can take you to dangerous places, but the tree can be trusted. The river can't be trusted, and in particular, you're not supposed to touch the water. But you guys were in a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the water splashed us, didn't it? When we went down the thing?
I didn't ever say that it did.
Okay. Well, did it then?
No, not that you recall.
Hmm.
So unless the effect of the water is to make you not remember that you got splashed by it.
Ket, did you drink the water out of that thing?
Hey man, I didn't do nothing this time.
I
Wasn't
don't
me.
know. I just gotta make sure. You never know.
Wasn't me.
You said you were
I-
super thirsty. Now I'm concerned.
I didn't do it.
Let's put it this way. If we don't do anything about this, then we risk a lot of things because something is attached and maybe either taking us over or infecting where we go. If we can't do something ourselves, then we have to find someone else who can. And as I said, this is probably a place where someone like that can be found.
Or we could plane shift back to the Astral Sea, and I could ask Shadow of a Star, and maybe he would know. I mean, that's someone directly. We know exactly where they are. We don't have to wander aimlessly searching.
Well, but
Well,
how do
I'm-
we get back here? Because we don't have well, I guess we could take the
We
tree,
could take
huh?
the tree.
Well,
Now that
Anarchy
we
can
know how
make
to
it-
get here.
Anarchy can make another tuning fork.
We
made
don't
a few
have a
spare.
forge anymore. Because the mansion is gone, and that's where he was getting the forge to make
But the
keys.
the
We can
keys were
take
already
something
made.
from
They
here
just
with us,
had
right?
they just had to be aligned. They just
Mm.
had
No.
there was just the magical process.
Oh yeah, I think you did make
No.
a few extra, didn't you?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I did make a whole bunch.
Yeah.
And we never so I kind of labeled them assuming they were going to make duplicates.
Yeah, I know we
But we
made a
never said
duplicate
we did.
for material plane, didn't we? We made a duplicate for that. And
Didn't we
Yes.
we made one for Gehenna too?
a duplicate for that? Or oh yeah, just a regular.
When we
I mean,
still
the
had
tree
the
can
man.
probably get us back here anyway. But
So
Yeah,
I wrote that we
exactly.
made two Gehenna ones, but we never specified whether we did or not.
I would think we only done one because
So-
like who wants to go there? Ugh.
But we were going to kill Jason. So. I don't know. So do we want to try to do that?
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
can do one.
I'm sure your teacher was very wise, but do you think this is something within what they know?
He's the one who told me not to go and drink the water.
It may
Okay,
have
I'm going
nothing
to
to
cast
do with
this
the water.
spell, and I'm going to ask: will we find someone in Mount Celestia that can help us dispel this magic that's tagged along?
Okay. So that's the question.
That's the question.
So are you doing this as a ritual? I mean, you can
I
do it as
can.
one action. It's a 4th level spell slot, but it's also ritual, so you could do it. Take an extra 10 minutes and.
Oh yeah, then I'm going to take the extra 10 minutes then do
Okay.
it because
So, for flavor, describe the ritual for us. Like, what do you do? How do you set up like paraphernalia?
I would take my holy symbol and center myself and let's see. It says
Take a
incense
note.
and a sacrificial offering. So I would think, just because I would know to be prepared with all of these kind of things, that I would probably have like some dirt from home, just a little pinch of it, like from the mountain itself, because that's the holy site.
Okay. Yeah.
And let's see, it says incense, so probably like to like as it burns, like sprinkle the powder around there, and like be focused on the question that I want to ask. So
Okay, so as you concentrate on your ritual and you're performing this, you're staring at your own holy symbol, which is the modified one that it's been since the Astral Sea, which it always was the mountain, but now with the sort of the sun behind it. And as you're focusing on it, what you find looking at it is that it starts to feel less like a symbol and more like it's real, like you're seeing a real mountain with an actual shining sun behind it. And the sun is getting very bright to the point where you start feeling like that's really all you see. Like you don't even really see the silhouette of the mountain there, you see just the sun. And then what you realize is that you're actually not looking at your holy symbol anymore. Somehow you've turned and you realize you're sitting there, and as part of the ritual, your gaze has been magically directed, and you're looking at the sun here, and you realize for the first time that it's so far away that you actually still can't see it. But what you thought is the sun is actually something glowing that brightly at the top of a mountain that is impossibly large.
wow.
Like basically you realize that like a whole half of the sky, like you couldn't really bring yourself to see it, but somehow now you can't unsee it, that it's like a whole half of the horizon is this mountain. And what you thought was the sun is something at the peak of it. I mean, it could be the sun that's just shining from exactly that spot, but
Seems unlikely.
but your divination,
Right.
your holy symbol feels very warm in your hands, and you definitely feel like the answer to your divination was to direct your gaze there.
All right. So this is definitely like a mountain that I have seen where this is like how far away are we from this mountain? Is it just like taking up half of the horizon?
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
You suspect it might be the nominal
No.
Mount Celestia. and you all realize now that like you don't know how you didn't notice a mountain there before. It's really big, but just somehow like your brains just didn't process it before. But now that this spell has been cast, you're all kind of seeing it. And it's hard to see. It's like it is far enough away that it is like just sort of the ordinary haze of the air in the sky. Clouds are between you and it. You know, so it's just like, but you just sort of, it's like a magic eye picture. Suddenly you see it.
Oh, guys, I think there's a problem.
Why?
I think we
There's a
broke it.
mountain. Well,
Archie, what did you do?
Took a nap.
Dab, 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 dab.
Well, we were bound to break something eventually. I suppose it's better that we get it out of the way.
That's what we do, man.
We already broke all of time and space. I mean,
Technically, that was
That was me.
why do I get the feeling this one was me?
So. Are we going to the mountain then?
I
Seems you
think
get
that
your
might be
wish,
on the
Alaric.
agenda. You have your sunglasses handy?
No. But there's a mountain ahead, and that gives me some hope. You know, I'd like to say that I didn't feel ecstatic about going to a mountain, but actually I kind of do. After all, this is sort of the mountain, right?
Whatever, let's go.
All right. So
Yep.
I think with that decision made, that's where we'll end tonight's session.
Yep.
I didn't expect you guys to come here. It's fine. It's good. It's going to be exciting. We'll see.
I mean, just because we took a map and threw a dart at it, what are you talking about?
I mean, you literally presented me with something bright and shiny. Heck yes.
So I'm thinking that a connection has maybe not been made that I was trying to be really subtle about, and I'm trying to decide if I should just say it. I'm actually reminded a little bit of this last week's Critical Role where it like Matt really like no-selled a big huge reveal, and the rest of the players had to kind of like talk about it and figure it out afterwards. I'll just go ahead and give how about this? Nira, make an insight check.
I feel like I know where this is going, but like part of me is like, let's see. Insight is a plus 11, so that is a 27.
That's high enough. Yeah, I think that as you feel the holy symbol, the modified holy symbol, warm in your hands, feeling your gaze directed up at this bright shining light on the top of this enormous mountain, reflecting that you've been told that something hitched a ride on your magic. You
It was
feel
me.
a voice in your head, that of the Fey Queen, saying, "I await your arrival."
Damn it. I knew it. I knew this one was me, guys.
Way to go,
I broke my
Nira.
flesh. Sorry.
All right, so we're going to leave it there. So thank you, everybody, for watching and or listening. We'll be back next week for more adventure on so many levels.
many levels.
Many levels.